of the best du'as to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a spouse is then this du'a, Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir. My Lord, indeed I am, for any good that you bestow on me, very needy. And by the way, there's also a sign here that you don't actually have to know what khayr, what good you're asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You just have to know that you are delegating it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't even have to know what the way out is. You just have to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of giving you a way out, and then trust Him to do so. And so sometimes we don't even know what we're specifically asking for, but we trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that ask. And so you have Khadija being driven to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have Abu Darda radiallahu ta'ala anhu being driven to Alqamah. You have Shu'aib and his family being driven to Musa alayhi salam. These du'as that are being made for a good spouse, for a good companion. What about the du'a of someone who is divorced or widowed? This is where we look to Salama radiallahu ta'ala anha, who when her husband Abu Salama radiallahu anhu passed away, and he was one of the best companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Truly a remarkable man, an amazing human being. And Salama radiallahu anha thought to herself, how could I possibly have something or someone better than him? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam teaches her the du'a, Allahumma ajirni fi musibati wa khuluf li khayran minha. Oh Allah, compensate me in regards to my tragedy and give me something better than that which was taken away. And when Salama radiallahu anha is making this du'a, she doesn't realize what the khayr could be, what it could possibly be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give her in place of Abu Salama. Is it Jannah? That would be khayr. But in her situation, she said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She never even thought that that was a possibility. And he was the one man, alayhi salatu wasalam, that she could say without a doubt was actually better than Abu Salama. Because if you asked her about any other companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she wouldn't be able to tell you who was better than Abu Salama radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Now someone might be saying, well look, my previous husband wasn't exactly Abu Salama. I got divorced and I had a nasty divorce. Or, perhaps even though I'm widowed, there's some trauma there and I'm having a hard time getting over it. And who's going to look towards me? The point is, dear brothers and sisters, when you make this du'a, there's surely something that is prophetic. There's surely something that can come out of it. And just like with every other du'a we've covered so far, you're saying, let the khayr be in the hereafter or the dunya, and privileging the hereafter to the dunya, but knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give you both if that's best for you. So this is the du'a for the single person in regards to Musa alayhi salam, the du'a for one who is divorced or widowed in the case of Salama radiallahu ta'ala anha. And then finally, the du'a that is comprehensive in this regard, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. O Allah, grant us from our spouses and children the coolness of our eyes, and make us imams, make us leaders for the pious. In this du'a, it's important to mention that this is not just a du'a that you make after you get married. This is a du'a that you make, period. And it has to match up with your actual priority in regards to who you choose as a spouse. So you can't say, let us have in our spouses and our children the coolness of our eyes and people that are religious and people that are practicing, but then not really have that represented in your criteria for marriage. So that's one group of people, right? Like, let me make this du'a, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ, but you're not choosing people on the basis of the criteria of your du'a. But for everyone else, when you're making this du'a, just like every other du'a, this is a Quranic du'a, this is a beautiful du'a, and it represents not just the desire for a companion, not just the desire for children, but it represents what would be driving you to make that du'a in the first place, which is to increase, first and foremost, increase the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. Because the coolness of your eyes in marriage and the coolness of your eyes in your children should be to see people that are in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then certainly to benefit from their companionship as well. But you keep on making that du'a, whether you're married or you are not married, and certainly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue to bestow upon you as a result of it what you were seeking from that du'a in the first place. But you don't have to be specific to have that blessed sustenance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah azza wa jal knows what and who is actually best for you in this life and in the hereafter.